Hello everyone, welcome to Lado Show. In this video, we'll be discussing about a roadmap that would lead you from a Python beginner to an advanced level programmer in Python. This roadmap is basically designed for you, thinking of you as a New Year gift. So use this roadmap from January 1st till June. So this roadmap will guide you for 6 months, and this would lead you in becoming a advanced Python programmer. Without wasting any time, let's deep dive into this various steps and the things you need to do, or the exact steps and the road you need to follow to become an advanced Python programmer. So, the step zero to learn the basics. Yes, I made it a step zero. So, zero means you were not even into Python. You were just learning the basics of Python. You were not doing some uh, something that a minimum beginner should know about Python. That's what you are doing in step zero. So in step zero, go with learning the data types. Learn about the data types. Know how Python data types are binded. Like how do they work? Know more about them. I have also made a Python interview video on the data types that Python have. The link is in the I button above. The moving on to the next one is mathematical operators. Know about mathematical operators. And when it comes to mathematical operators, there is obviously conditional operators. Learn about conditional operators too. Deep dive into these steps. Next, you should know about the functions and the concept of method overloading. How do we write functions in Python? How do we do method overloading, the functions, the overloading the functions in Python? And obviously, when you are doing all this all are comes under the basics or the step zero on learning Python. Go ahead with file handling. Look how you can handle files. How you can open, close, and read file, write data to files. And obviously, when you're learning the basics, learn about the for loops, while loops, the loop concept. Then learn about the uh, how Python works basically. This is the basics of Python. I hope you can understand. Learn about installing a Python library, maybe installing some of your pip, like the thing you do with pip install some library name. Okay, do this kind of things in the basics. This is your step zero. Okay, so that's the step zero. Learn the basics of Python. So you can learn this from any website or anywhere you want, but these are the basics of Python. Okay, next, we should move on to step one. So, what's the step one? In step one, you should know about the OOPS concept. So, what is this OOPS concept? So, OOPS concept is basically the concept about object-oriented programming. Okay. So, in that, understand what's OOPS. What's the object-oriented programming is? In the next step, understand the classes, understand the methods, understand the constructors, understand the method overriding, the concept behind method overriding, how a method overriding is done, understand about the concept of inheritance. So these are the concepts of object-oriented programming. Understand about this, understand one by one all of these concepts, and you should get a good grip of these concepts too. And most important, I mentioned this as a part of object-oriented concept, like oops concept, but the most important is learn to implement the algorithms and data structures in Python. That would help you a lot. So go ahead with implementing the algorithms and data structures. Go ahead with implementing your merge sorting algorithms, and go ahead with implementing with the searching algorithms. Uh, Look how arrays, I mean, list works in Python. Look how linked list can be implemented in Python. This kind of things. Know this kind of thing. Learn this kind of thing. So that's the step one. Okay. Moving on to the step two. And step two is concurrent and parallel programming. So in this, you should know about a bit in depth about parallel programming, the threads. Okay, so you should know about the mutual exclusion, how this is done, how the logs or daily logs are created and solved. You should also learn about the thread concept, how a multi-threading works, how you should go ahead with threading, how a compiler works with this threading concept. This kind of concepts you should deep dive into this. You should do socket programming. You should do networking or the network programming. you should do with this in the step two. That's important to know about this kind of things. It's definitely necessary to know about this networking, sockets, threads, deadlocks, mutual exclusions, and in the step two, you should obviously know about the process scheduling, how scheduling works. These are the steps you need to know. You might say that, hey, this is not Python programming, right? But this is necessary to be a master or advanced level Python programmer, or whatever any language you go. This is something definitely necessary. So that's the reason I added this in one of the steps in learning Python. Moving on to step three, and the most important one, go ahead with creating projects. You should create some projects. Start with beginner levels. You can start with projects like uh, just some URL shortener or some basic paint application or notepad application, this kind of things. And when you are starting with projects, start learning database operations handling. You should know how to handle a database. That's important for learning projects or some creating some projects. So the first step is database operation handling. You should know this concept, how to handle a database. Then moving on to step next part is create some desktop apps. You can create some you can say some Kinter applications or some GUI applications in Python that you can run like a Notepad application, uh, or you can say work on some Paint application. I will drop down a list, a video in the I button that will show you how to create a basic Notepad application. You can also create beginner level websites. The beginner level websites maybe a small portfolio of yours. That's something you can create. Okay. Next, you can create some mobile applications. You should like experiment. Maybe you just gain some interest in building mobile apps. Maybe you just gain interest in building desktop apps. And who knows, you can even gain interest in building websites. So this you should try each of them and figure out which one is the most interesting to you. So create various applications, like create projects, and this would help you a lot. Next, you should automate some basic stuff. Yes, automating in Python, write some scripts to automate tasks. This is important. You can use Selenium to automate websites. You can use Selenium to fill up forms again and again. Do some stuff that you are doing that need automation. You can do renaming of files of a huge number of files in a web in a folder. There's a lot of files, you want to rename them. This kind of small stuffs. Okay, a small Python script doing the thing, finishing your task. This is what you need to do. That's automating the basic stuff. Also, in projects, I just added a point that's build some bots. So yeah, you might think bot development isn't easy. Yeah, I agree to that. But you can build some simple bots, a simple web crawler, or maybe some scraping websites. So these are the things you can create, right? So build some bots. Moving on to step four. Step four is slightly becoming a pro in Python, and start with some creating advanced projects. You can create many of the advanced projects, like you can work with your own portfolio. You can build some Django or Flux application. You can build some applications that are pretty difficult to build, right? So those are the advanced projects that you can do with Python. Next, you can design APIs using the Flux or Django, whichever you feel best. So that's how you just design the API. And important thing comes now, then work with NumPy and Pandas. So if you're trying to become a professional or a pro or maybe expert in Python, then NumPy and Pandas are one of the must need in this time, in this current era, I think. So work with NumPy and or Pandas. Learn about those. Also, work with ML libraries. Yesterday, I made a video on important Python libraries that you should know at this moment. So, important ML libraries, work with ML libraries, know about that, and that's the thing we do, right? Work with ML libraries. And the next thing, deploy applications to the server. And yes, deploying application to server is a huge step to learn. You should learn about deploying your application on the server. Moving on is the step five, and this is the last but not the least step. So what's that? You should do some bot development. In step three, I mentioned build some bot, but those are the basic bots. Now you should build some proper bot development that can do a proper task, a quality task. Okay, build some bot. Then do data mining, do data visualization. This is the thing you should do. and then you are now quite a bit expert in Python. So work with data science, work with machine learning projects, do classification, do great machine learning stuff, do work with OpenCV, work with and stuff that can help you, like in help the society. Okay, work with it, face marks detection, work with this kind of thing. A huge, there are a lot of machine learning projects to work on. Go work with those. Next is IoT projects. If you just got some interest in IoT, do some IoT projects at least. Next, do game development. In game development, you can build some basic games too. You can do some of the typical games. You can build some games. So start with say a Sudoku puzzle or a tic-tac-toe, or maybe a basics of rock paper scissors. So yeah, you can work with game development. This is something you can work with, and I think this is the list that you should work. Okay. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you got to learn a good resource or a good roadmap that you should follow to become an expert in Python. So thank you everyone for watching this. Make sure you like the videos, comment down your thoughts. If you think I have missed something, make sure you mention that in the description below. Following that, make sure you, if you aren't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon to get regular notifications of my videos. Thank you everyone.